We will be discussing the different fielding strategies that are used in both softball and baseball.
The catcher's different fielding duties are the first strategies that will be explained. The catcher must have a quick reaction time. He or she is responsible for stopping the ball from getting past home plate and must be ready at all times. Sometimes the pitches will be wild and the catcher must still be able to stop the ball. Many batters are going to hit the balls straight up into the air and it may end up being in foul territory. It is the catcher's responsibility to react fast enough to catch the pop-up foul balls that are within his or her domain. Other batters are going to hit the balls straight up into the air, but it'll be in fair territory. If the ball is close enough to home plate, the catcher must attempt to catch the ball. There are some cues to help the catcher remember the movements involved in his or her fielding strategies. The first cue is to keep his or her eyes on the ball. If the ball is not seen, it cannot be caught. The second cue is to reach his or her arms towards the ball, and then he or she wants to bring the ball to the body. This way, the ball cannot go behind the catcher because his or her body has stopped the ball. If the ball is below the waist, the catcher must remember to keep his or her pinkies together to field the ball, always using two hands. The dominant hand should then cover the ball while it is in the glove to make sure that the ball cannot be dropped. If the ball is fielded above the waist, the catcher must keep their thumbs together to catch the ball. Two hands are needed to keep the ball from dropping to the ground. Again, the throwing hand should then cover the ball so it does not leave the glove.
Infielders must be able to perform a number of different fielding strategies. The first strategy is that he or she must be able to react quickly to field the ball. Sometimes they are going to have less than a second to react to the ball. Because they are in the infield, balls are going to be coming at them at very high speeds. It is important for the infielders to always be ready so they are always able to field anything hit to them. Infielders must be able to catch pop-ups. These are probably the easiest type of hits to react to. There is plenty of time for the fielder to get under the ball and catch it. Line drives are going to occur. This is when the ball quickly arrives at the infielder in a straight line in the air. This is another instance where the fielder must be able to react quickly. Often the fielder will not even realize the ball was caught because it arrived at them so fast, and his or her reaction was to jab the ball with the glove.
Bunts are used in the offensive position. Fielders must always react when the batter gets into the bunting position. More often than not, the batter will try to lay down the bunt. When this occurs, the infielder must be able to field the ball and throw to the designated base. Sometimes slow rollers will come off of the bat. The infielder must be able to run up on the ball because otherwise it takes too long for the ball to roll to the fielder. By the time the fielder gets the ball, if they just wait on it, the batter will already be on first base. If the fielder is able to charge the ball, there is a good chance that the batter will be thrown out. There are a few different cues to remember as an infielder when fielding a ground ball. The knees of an infielder should almost always be bent, and his or her weight should be equally distributed on both legs. The infielder's arms should be extended downward, and pinky-to-pinky positioning of the hands must be used to field the ball. Once the ball is fielded, the fielder should bring the ball to his or her chest, so it is less likely to be dropped. The fielder's throwing hand should be covering the ball while it is in the glove. The fielder's throwing hand should then grab the ball and bring it to his or her ear to get ready to throw. This all should be done in a quick manner. When a pop-up is in the infield, there are some different cues to remember. The infielder must always keep their eyes on the ball. Just like with the catcher, if the ball is not seen, it cannot be caught. The infielder must be positioned directly under the ball, so all he or she has to do is reach their glove into the air and catch the ball, while using two hands. When using two hands, it is very unlikely that the ball will be dropped. The infielder wants to bend at the knees as he or she catches the ball, so then they can be in ready position just in case a runner decides to steal a base. Outfielders have different fielding strategies that should be executed. An outfielder must be able to catch fly balls. Batters can hit the ball all the way to the fences, and outfielders have to be able to run to the ball in an attempt to catch it. Some batters are going to hit the ball in the air just far enough that the infielder cannot field it, and it won't be quite to the outfield. If this is the case, the outfielder must be able to run up on the ball. It is easier to run up on the ball than it is to backpedal to try to catch it. The grass also slows the ball down, so if there is a grounder in the outfield, the fielder must run up on the grounder to try to get the nearest out possible. An outfielder must have a strong arm. Even though most of the time an infielder will be a cutoff, he or she has to still have a long, accurate throw. If the cutoff is not needed, the catcher will call it off. It is best if the ball can get all the way to the designated base, but sometimes it just isn't possible. Communication is key as an outfielder. All outfielders must be able to communicate with every other teammate on the field. Plays will run much more smoothly if everyone knows exactly what is going on and who is doing what. Outfielders have a few different cues that they must remember while fielding pop-ups and fly balls. The first movement involved while fielding a fly ball that is over an outfielder's head is to drop step and go. The outfielder should run full speed towards the ball and, at the last second, put his or her glove into the air to catch the ball. The outfielder should always use two hands while catching the ball. While fielding ground balls in the outfielder must extend his or her arms downward towards the ball. The fielder must use pinky-to-pinky fielding while using the dominant hand to cover the ball once it is in the glove. The outfielder should then bring the ball to his or her chest to make sure it does not get past them. Diving is a very beneficial strategy to use as any type of fielder. To dive, the player must basically throw his or her body at the ball and have their glove out, ready to field the ball. The point of diving is that the player can quickly cover more space on the field. After fielding the ball, the player must be able to get up and throw the ball accurately to the nearest base to try to get the next out. Ultimately, each position has its own sequence of movements that should be performed while fielding the ball. The fielding strategies used at each position should come naturally. If the fielder pauses, he or she may cost a run or a stolen base. Every movement should flow so the gameplay remains smooth. It would be very beneficial for a player to know the different fielding strategies for all of the positions. If a player is able to perform all strategies correctly, he or she will most likely have more playing time because they can play at any position.